Good morning. Craig Howard here again this morning, and really happy to see you. Chi Chi woke me up this morning walking around my face, and when I tried to push her off, she dug in and cut a gash across my nose. I don't know if you can see it with her claw. So she and I are not on very good terms this morning, but things happen, don't they? I read about something kind of strange that happened to a young man by the name of Timothy Harrison. Timothy Harrison came into work on May 27th of this year. He worked at a local Waffle House. And as he was starting his shift, his one of the coworkers looked at him and said, "Why are you here?" And he said, "Well, I didn't want to miss work." And one of the other workers said, "Yeah, today's your graduation day. Aren't you supposed to be at graduation?" And he said, "Yeah, but I didn't want to miss work. And besides, it's at a special venue clear across town, and I didn't have any way to get there. And I just figured it's no big deal. I just come to work and you know make what money I can." And he said, "It's graduation. It's no big deal." And one of the other workers looked at him and said, "You're going to your graduation." And they all looked at him and says, "What do we need to do to make it happen so you can get there?" Well, as it turned out, they had to do a lot. And I don't know how they did it. They had to go buy a cap and gown, get him some clothes, some graduation clothes, and then transport him all the way across town to the venue in time for him to make his graduation. In fact, the manager even brought in extra people to cover the shift while the workers that were working with him got him ready and got him to his graduation. Um, he said he was just overwhelmed by this feeling of people caring about him to the extent he said, when I put the clothes on, it was like I got so excited because it represented more than his graduation. It represented people who cared enough to make a difference in his life. You know, the Bible tells us that's the kind of people we're supposed to be. I know I spend a lot of time on here talking about helping one another and encouraging one another and how we're supposed to make a difference in each other's lives. But Paul was writing to Titus in the book of Titus, and where he was writing to, Titus was in Crete. Crete was one of the most, I don't know how to even describe it. It was a lawless, selfish, wild city. It was considered one of the wildest cities of its day. In fact, maybe you've heard the term Eucretan. What that meant is just you were so uncivilized, you were so off the wall, so out of control that if somebody called you a Cretan, you were just reproachful almost because you were so out of control. Paul's writing to the church at Crete, and the church at Crete, because they were so surrounded with people that were acting so badly, they were starting to act badly, just kind of getting swallowed up by the society they were in. And Paul is writing to Titus, and he tells them you can't do that. In fact, in Titus chapter 3, the first two verses, he says, "Remind them to be subject to the rulers and authorities, to obey, to be ready for every good work, to speak evil of no one, to be peaceable, gentle, showing humility to all men." I like the way it reads in the New International Version. In the one part, it says, "Be ready to do whatever is good. Always be gentle toward everyone." We live in a time where our world is kind of out of control, and society doesn't treat each other very well. And sadly, Christians are starting to accept the standard that the world is setting on the kind of people we're supposed to be. And maybe we're just a little bit better, but we don't recognize the need to be a unique people. That we don't recognize that we're called to be something totally different, totally separate, totally different from what the world sets as the standard. Paul is reminding us in this passage, you're to really be different. Be ready to do whatever is good. Slander no one. Don't be carrying gossip. Be peaceable and considerate, and always be gentle towards each other. This was part of my Tuesday night Bible study. And it sounds like a simple thing until you break this down and really begin to look at what he's calling us to do. And then you realize this is a big deal. Well, it was a big deal for the people at Crete, and it's a big deal today, but it is possible to be what you're supposed to be. It was proven by a bunch of workers at a Waffle House. It ought to be able to be proven, and that's where that boy worked, in case I didn't say that earlier. He worked at the local Waffle House. If it can be proven by some workers at a Waffle House, don't you think it can be proven by the people in your church and mine? I hope so. Give that something to think about. You have a great day today. I pray God gives you a day full of blessing. See you tomorrow. God bless.